Hi there. You're welcome to another interesting episode of the BRR Show, a show where we have conversations relating to business, relationship, and real life issues. My name is Oluwa Tobi Shola Abiola. Have you ever had a situation where it is that you want something so desperately, but others have it and do not appreciate? Right after the break, we'll have a conversation regarding this. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Our guest for today is Modupe Nebedum, and she's here to share her life with us. So, welcome with me, Modupe Nebedum. Hi, sis.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's such a delight to have you sit right next to me.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor. I really love to share my story because I know it helps other people, especially women, married women. You have expectations, and then when you get married, it's something else entirely. Okay, my name is Mudupe Nibidum, like she rightly said. I'm the founder of Haven 23 Ventures, now H23 Haven 23 Limited. It's a coconut processing company where we focus on health and beauty conscious individuals. We help them to achieve their wellness goal. Okay, so that's about it. That is one side of me
And
because
so,
I do a lot of things
you do a lot of
anyway.
things. And so, with your introduction, I see that coconut just sounds coconut, but you've achieved so much with this little business, right? That
Yeah.
seems like it is just coconut. Can you share some of those wins with us?
Okay. Well, let me start from how it all started.
Yeah.
School was on strike. I read the book Acres of Diamond, and then I realized that what we are all looking for, it's right, just at the corner where we are. And I realized that we had coconut tree in the house. Okay, Google, what do you do with coconuts? And then I saw different things you could do with coconut. And at that time, all I remember most of the time is, when it's corn season and roasted corn and coconut. Aside that, nothing really came to my mind. So I saw the beautiful things you could do with coconut, and then I started trying it out. Along the line, a friend of mine knew about it, and then she just called me one day and said, Dupe, this is your coconut idea. What are you doing about it? That she
Mm.
just gave birth and she needed coconut oil. Okay, no wahala
Wow.
now. I carried myself to the market. I bought coconut. I did it, and then my husband said, "You must be passionate about this to want to do this." Because he saw the quantity of coconut I used and he saw the quantity
Quantity
of
of
oil
oil
that
that
came out
came
of it.
out, yeah.
As in, like, there's no correlation between the two. And so it started. At that time, it wasn't too long I got married. There was a UWIN grant. So I told myself, I don't have anything to
To
lose. Let me try.
lose.
So I tried. Fortunately for me, I got the grant,
How
and
much,
then
please?
I got the 7 million naira grant.
A what?
7 million naira grant.
7 million. What year was this?
That was 2014,
Wow.
15, I guess.
Okay. So,
And so that's
year
how
two.
that's how it all started. And yes, I'd had my first child then, and business was going, it was going, it was going, and I got pregnant again. And I was this time around the pregnancy wasn't funny. It
Okay.
was a bit stressful.
Mm.
Funny enough, my daughter would always ask me, "How are they?" I said, "It's just a child. I'm fine. The child
Wow.
is fine."
How old was your child at this time?
She was a year plus.
What?
A year plus.
And she was able to say how are they?
Yes. But even at that, even with the pregnancy, I still had so many, scholarships, training I was going for because I was fortunate that pregnancy wasn't, I'm not the kind of person that, you get pregnant and then either you have to be bed rest or
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah.
In fact, I was working like,
Mm.
like two women in one. It was hard. I was so energized. And then the time for delivery came. And of course, the first baby came out, or the baby came out. The midwife had already left for others to clean me up. And
Okay.
then I was just shouting, something is coming out, something is coming
What?
out. They said it's a placenta. I said, no, something is coming out. And then I just felt the pop and they said another head. I was like, another
What?
head? Where? So
Can't they reveal this?
the child was looking like skeleton and I was like, what is this?
What?
They called my husband in, and I told my husband, I beg, don't tell anybody. Nobody knew I was going to have twins.
Twins.
So before they would start telling me, sorry, sorry. So even in my mind, I couldn't wrap my head around the child surviving. So I was just, and it was like skeleton, skin and everything.
Wow.
And then my whole world changed because I was like, okay, with one child, you can
You
back your
still
child, you
manage,
still do your
yeah.
business and all of that. But now I can't go out. I have to go with somebody. I can't carry. They'll tell
Two
me two of them will be crying. They'll tell me to
children.
breastfeed the two of them. How do I want to breastfeed the two of them? As in,
Hmm.
how? So it took me a while before the reality of my life, what my life is now, before it dawned on
And
me.
assuming, sorry to cut you,
Yeah,
assuming you knew before the delivery date that you were expecting to, you would, you may have
planned
positioned your
myself.
mind,
Yeah,
yes, to
I could
receive.
have planned myself. Of course, he too didn't
Ah,
expect it. It was that day, that morning, we started. We had to go to the market to buy clothes for them because we didn't know we were going to have two boys.
what?
So everything just changed. And well, at that time, there was no the usual postpartum depression, blah, blah, blah. But I just kept telling myself, because I'm a Christian, I just kept telling myself that, God has said He won't give me something more than I can handle.
Bear.
So if He gave me this, that means I can handle it. But I kept telling myself, God help me. I'm not going to complain. This is something people are looking for. They don't have. I
Mm,
have it. I don't want to complain. But at the same time, business is there. And then it came at the time my business was like kind of having its growth.
do you get?
So I couldn't
Oh,
go out, I couldn't do anything. But my husband was very supportive, and then it went like that. And then before we knew it, Dupe was pregnant again.
eh?
So before we knew
Hold on, hold
it,
on, hold on, please. I don't understand. How old were the twins at this time?
mm, okay, they were, I think they were a year plus.
A year plus.
Yeah, you get
And
a
your
year
first
plus.
child was a year plus
She
when you
was
were
she was
pregnant.
2.
Okay,
Yeah, I had them May 1st of May. Then she is May 6th. So she was 2.
years
She just two
exactly.
one. Then I had them and another one.
So they were a year
So for
plus.
those that knew me, is either anytime you see me, is either I'm pregnant or I'm not seeing. Is either I'm
Yeah,
pregnant or I'm
yeah.
not seeing. To cut the long story short, in 6 years I had 5 kids. So it
Oops.
was a roller coaster of emotions, sleep pattern disturbed. And at the same time, I was like, God, you gave me this work. You are giving me these kids. I mean, children only comes from God. That's why we
Yeah.
have people do IVF, do different things, and at the end of the day, nothing is coming forth. So it was like, you gave me this work. You are giving me these kids. How am I going to combine everything
Everything
together? It was
together.
a whole lot. At some point, I felt resentment towards my husband because it was as if he was living his life. I could not live mine. Like my life was on hold, it was on pause. I realized I was passing aggression to the children. It was just like, this is
Mm.
not the life I planned for
Planned for,
myself.
especially when you get that kind of grant, you
Exactly.
already have ideas flowing
The
in.
exposure. And, funny enough, because I'm this kind of person, because I told myself one day that I'm not like, in quotes, stay at home wife or mom, or I'm not a stay at home person, because I realized that during those periods, I kept going for trainings. And even for somebody that has just one child, they probably wouldn't even do anything. But I'm having children back to back, and yet I keep going out for training. We go for 1 year LCCI, EDC. I was always in one training. If it's not online,
Yeah,
I'm always learning. Like, maybe it's the Ekiti gene
always,
in me,
always.
that is making me to read. I was always learning something. And then, after a while, there was so much anger. It was overwhelming. It was
Absolutely, I can
overwhelming.
imagine.
So I cried, like, like, this jail, this
Mm,
cage I'm in. Because, like, when you don't know what you want to do, it's a different ball game. But when you know, and then you now, for some reason, you cannot do it,
do it.
it's like you are being caged, like, and you want to let yourself out. So at some point, I was like, this is not the kind of life I want. This is not me. So I needed to go for therapy.
What?
And the first thing we worked on was my sleeping pattern. Of course, because when you are pregnant, pregnancy will not allow you to sleep
Ah,
well. When you are nursing, you can't sleep
So
well.
in like
So
6 years,
I happen to
you
be my husband's
literally
alarm. So he will tell me, I'm going out. As well, like, please wake me
wake
up.
me up.
Because I'm always a light sleeper,
And to have children back to back, this
back to
means that
back.
you didn't sleep for, let's say, 5 years or
Mm,
6 years.
In 6 years, I had 5 kids. And I had twins. So that was like double work,
Ah,
you get. So when people tell me, you look like you're still the same, it's not my fault.
the work you are doing,
The
say,
way I do never allow me to do it. So it came like that. And
mm,
then on my journey, when I went for therapy, I realized that on my journey, I met a lot of women as well that they felt, this is not the life they wanted for themselves. But because of childbirth, some had to stop work, and now they are home. It's a bit challenging. And then I realized that, okay, if I'm lucky enough to have gotten help, at least
Yeah.
before marriage, I kind of knew what I wanted. I knew who I am, and so I didn't that didn't go away. So if you look at the pattern of my life, there was a day my mom was clearing up, cutting the house, and then I carried my books and I saw, from way back in school, 2005, 4, 3,
Wow.
and I saw coconut oil, I saw Bible, I saw the kind of books I was reading. So like the pattern has been there. So it's like I
Mm,
knew what I wanted to do. So even though this came in, I was able to find my balance easily,
okay.
and then when I went for therapy, it changed the whole game for me. So I'd met women on my journey, and I was like, okay, if I could do this and come out, then let me help them, and then
Amen.
heal and sparkle was given back to. Because for
Wow.
you to sparkle, for you to be fulfilled as a married woman or as a woman, you have to
Heal
heal
first.
first. You have to
Mm,
heal first. Your childhood trauma, your marital journey. Some marriages are facing challenges right now because of things like this. Like, my husband didn't know I was resenting him. He didn't know. But at the same time, the funny thing is, because they are men, they don't talk. He also had his own. Because the kids now took my time. There was no really
oh,
me and him time,
time.
it wasn't. So when that gap was there, it was there. So he missed those periods that, okay, I want my
My
wife, I
wife.
want you, but he couldn't really have me because
Oh,
I also didn't have help. I mean, help. I wasn't lucky to have them, so I was just like, okay, just go. Let me.
wow.
Like, so it was just us and myself, him, the kids. Once in a while, my mom comes
Mm,
around to help out. So I realized that he had that. I miss you, but of course, he's being a man, he doesn't want to talk. I also miss him, but the kids,
I
like a
take your
handful.
time.
So I realized that even though I had resentment towards him and I felt like he was living his life, he too on his own side was missing me. And like, where's my wife?
Mm,
Where's the companionship? Where's
mm.
the gist? Where's the date night? And and
Imagine.
all of that. So that's why communication in marriage is important. And then when I went for therapy, I could understand that, this man also have his own issues. Let me not say, okay, you are not helping me or you are not, sometimes you just look for necessary excuses now,
Yeah, we know
because
ourselves. We know agenda.
and then he doesn't know how to help because he doesn't
Yeah.
really know what the
So,
problem is. And then
yeah.
you two, you are not voicing out and saying this is the problem. So it kept on like that.
Okay. Wow. This has been so in depth. I'm really, really wondering how you were able to cope in those years and even till now because problems have graduated to it's no more diaper, the problems are now in a different stage. We'll go on a break right now. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Modupe Nebedum. Just stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to the BRR show. Before we went on a break, we started the conversation with Modupe Nebedum, who had 5 children in 6 years. And so the conversation will pop up to say, didn't you do family planning? Why would you have 5 children in 6 years? And I'm sure at some point people would have wandered around saying that she's pregnant again, and those rolling eyes will go up. So, how did you navigate that process? And did you even try family planning at all?
Yeah, of course, I had a lot of we let me say, people have a way of looking at you, like they look at you to the point that you just want the ground to open up,
Mm.
and swallow you. Like, how are we responsible in this present day in Nigeria? You are having 5 kids. I went to a Chinese restaurant one day with my kids, and as I was going in, the guy was like, "What?"
What?
No, it wasn't funny. And then, of course, I did family planning. Family planning, sometimes it fails. And then sometimes I realized that some of us are just so fertile. So you can't blame us.
Ah,
Even though I did family planning,
okay.
but in reality, we research, some of us are just like that. And then, at some point, I would look at people who have been waiting. That's why I
Hmm.
said that. I would look at people who have been waiting. And then I'll look at them and like, these people don't know what they have. They have just one
Wow.
child, or it took them 4 years to have a child. For example, my sister-in-law, it took her 4 years to have a child. It took another 4 years to have another child. And then I'm looking at them and like, God, why?
Why are you choosing
Why? It
me?
was back to back. I'm looking at them. They are looking at me that this girl is blessed. Me, I'm looking at them that you people, you don't know what
Oh,
you have. You have
Nigeria.
time. I don't have time on my hands, but they have time. And at the same time, there are still people who are looking to God for the fruit of the womb. So sometimes, like they say, that life is a mystery. What you're looking at and you want to complain about is what somebody is looking at and desperately wants.
Hmm.
Most times, it's always like people always look forward to having giving birth. Yeah, in my story was different. Me, my hands are full, and I'm like, God, why? It's like a complaint that why are you giving me children? Why do I have kids?
Wow.
You know. And then even though people look at me like, okay, you are irresponsible, you are not, it affected me. I going out, I always didn't want to go out. Let me just stay at home. Then aside from that, the stress of going out is another thing. But at some
Absolutely.
point, okay, and so I have 5 kids. That's what even announces me. If I stand anywhere and tell you I have 5 kids, you will listen. So whether you like
Hmm.
it or not,
With your
is
stature?
with my stature. So it's something that is
Absolutely.
launching me out. Hello, my name is Motupe Inebedum, blah 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 blah. I gave birth to 5 kids in the space of 6 years. You're
6 years.
like, wow. And then of course, I built capacity. I didn't just sit down. So when I open my mouth to talk, you want to listen.
Hmm.
Do you understand? So even though it wasn't easy, for example, ill and sparkle was birthed out of this trauma and challenge that I went through.
It's amazing how you call it trauma and challenge because, just like you said, your blessing
Mhm.
was something you didn't want,
Yeah.
and it's another person's prayer point. So, family planning, what were the challenges you faced with that?
Family planning, of course, it has a lot of side effects, which people are silent about. And then I realized that women also don't want to talk because, it's like they tell you, go and find out what your mates are doing about it. And
Yeah.
family planning, it's both ways because you don't impregnate yourself, it's both ways.
Okay, so when
And
you say
then
family
when
planning is both ways, that's another, eye opener for a lot of people that say both ways.
because it has its own challenges. So your husband also have to be aware so that he can give you the necessary support.
Okay.
That's why you see some people do family planning, they had weight, and then people start body shaming them. And sometimes even the man that told you that go and do family planning is also body shaming. Like, for example, I've been slim all my life. And then all of a sudden, let's for example, what if that's the side effect it gave me and I had dead weight? Even I might not like it myself because I've been slim all my life and I enjoyed the way I'm slim.
Okay.
And my husband too might not like it. Do you understand?
I see.
And then it becomes an issue. I've had people who did family planning and then they find it difficult to lose weight. But
Wow.
even women don't even talk about it. It's like, I don't know, it's like a taboo. They don't talk about it. Some people have heavy flow,
Yes.
you know, and it leads to something else, some other medical conditions. So even though you're on family planning, it's always going to have side effects because it's something foreign in your body, either hormonal or whichever one that is not hormonal. But you just have to be careful. You have to pay attention to your body so that when you notice anything, find a solution to either you remove it, wait for a
Okay.
while, then find out what works for you. So why I said it's not just a woman thing, so that at that point in time, your husband knows, and then two of you can know what's going to work
Okay.
for you.
Okay. So I know that there are family planning options for the male, but on this side of the planet, we don't have those
People
conversations
don't talk about it.
because they mostly blame the woman to say, you don't know what your mates they do, like
Do
you
you
said,
understand?
right? So could you shed a bit of more light on that, the option for the man, and why it is that maybe our society has been silent about it? I would think that because we're in a patriarchal system, so most times no blame wants to go on the male gender, especially
Mhm.
regarding procreation. And these are conversations that
People don't.
identify men as now man you be
Mm.
when they show the kind of or the amount of children that they have.
Yeah, there's the CD which everybody knows. There's the withdrawal method. There's vasectomy, and But aside from all of this, what I just want to the bottom line is both the couple should work hand in hand because if the woman has the support that she needs,
Hmm.
I mean, it's more easier when you are on a journey and then you have a supportive spouse
Okay.
than when they say it's a woman thing. Go and find out what women do about it, and then you find out what women do about it, and then something happens to you, and then he doesn't understand what is going on with you, and then
Yeah.
it becomes a challenge. But when you are both on the same page, you two can. Sometimes I might be start having with, I might not quickly notice, but your partner can notice.
Notice.
So sometimes it can also help on your health conditions, the food to eat, and some other things like that.
Lifestyle
Because
changes.
I mean, I think we have natural family planning as well.
Yeah.
And there's a page on Instagram, there's a lady on Instagram that does natural ways, natural family planning, and ovulation calculation, and all of these
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So that at least if a guy is coming and you're saying, oh, guy, this is wrong timing, you can understand, and
Yeah.
then or like you just want it and he wants it, and it's your problem to go and find out, to
Yeah.
go and find a solution to it. So in all, both partners should come together and agree and decide on what works best for them.
Okay, so I'm just thinking about your family finances, having
Mhm.
5 children. So can you paint typical scenarios for us? If you want to eat noodles, what's the quantity?
Okay,
I mean,
noodles,
so people can relate.
noodles has 40 in the carton, and that's so we're five. So
Okay.
if let me say I'm going to eat out of it, we can eat depending 10 at
What?
once. So that means we're just going to eat like 4 times.
What?
So if you buy a roll of Cocoa Pops, I think it's 12. So that roll of Cocoa Pops, I mean, that roll, like once, they take
Once.
once. If they take it two, they take once. So if you have this amazing day carton, it has 100. But the thing, the food doesn't last in our house. But, like I said, I always tell people I'm a person of faith, and my faith it has always worked for me. And like I said earlier on, that a child only comes from God. So God
Hmm.
will not give you more than what you can handle. He always make the provision. Somehow it just comes and you don't know why. It doesn't mean that you should be irresponsible. Do you
Absolutely.
understand? But it will not give you more than what you can handle. So it's not what we're earning that we're spending,
Oh,
really. How
yeah.
it adds up, we don't know. But it's always been there. It's always been there. For example, I can't remember the last time I bought a bag of rice because somehow
Somebody
somebody will
will
just
say, ah, that
give
man.
somebody will
Will
just
say,
give, or maybe my husband does something and like, okay, give it to your wife. Or somebody
wow.
just comes and just say, okay, just pack food stuff, and no, God just has a way of providing, and I've given everything to him. So I take it one day at a
At a
time.
time.
And then I try to create memories, because after I went for therapy, before I was angry, I used to be aggressive, blah blah blah. I would just lash out on the kids. So I realized that, okay, I've passed down some a bit of trouble with these children. So I have
And
to
then
start
it
working
wasn't
on
their
it.
fault.
So
Mm.
and then so I try to create memories as much as possible. Apologize. Okay, I'm sorry for shouting. Okay, what do I do that you don't like? And then they tell me, and like, okay, I'll try and work on it. If I'm doing anything next time, okay, you should cooperate. Don't do this. And then I have my me time. So I have my me
Oh.
time when I'm in my room. It is me time, so nobody comes to disturb me. Mom is having her me time.
And this me time
Mm,
comes at a phase in life.
yeah.
So at the time where your children were a bit younger, you
Hmm.
couldn't have had the me
No, I
time,
couldn't have a me
right?
time. I couldn't have a me time. So one thing we also need to know as mothers is that our life is in phases and seasons. So you have to know the season of your life per time. When I was giving birth, it was my childbearing moment. It was a phase. But at the same time, because of online things now, I was able to build capacity. The time will come when I will not always be with these kids. And the time will come when opportunity will come. And when the opportunity shows up, I can grab it because
You're
I had
prepared.
built capacity. So that is why you have to know yourself. And that is why you have to heal so that you can sparkle. You have to know who you are, what you want. So you know where to build that capacity. When that opportunity comes, you grab it. I go out now. Before I couldn't go out, I don't go out. But I go out now. And initially I started going out a little bit. I would just stay not so far from the house. I'll leave
Okay.
them at home. I'll leave the phone at home. So I was detaching myself from
Gradually.
them gradually. It was a transitioning moment for them. And then when I'm going out, like, mommy, you're going out. I've been at home with you people all this one. So me to have a life now. Mommy to have a
Ah,
life,
nice.
and I have to do my life. At some point when I was doing videos, my daughter would say, oh, mommy, you've not been doing videos again. okay, she gets it now. She understands.
Mm.
So I'm also encouraging them. On my birthday, she did a video for me and she put there that my mother helps married women, to heal and sparkle. I was like,
Wow, yeah,
you
you
know,
get it.
you get it. You do understand. So when I start going out now, I tell them that okay, I'm in the transitioning phase. And then when I clocked 40, that was last year, and I told them that okay, life begins at 40. She said, what has happened all along? I said it's rehearsal. So at 40 is a life
Wow.
of ease. So mommy, no more, mommy's not shouting again. Don't stress mommy again. No, this is another
Hey.
phase. So I made them know that I'm transitioning. So you guys, we have to be ourselves now. Things are changing.
Mm.
We have to change, with it. So when the opportunity comes, I'm detaching myself. I see the way they bond together, I see the way they work together, and I see the way they argue at the same time.
Mhm.
And then sometimes they call me and I'm like, there was a day I said, you have you have the grace to call me 10 times in a day. You have the grace to call me 10 times in a day. Once you've called me 10 times, don't call me again.
Again.
Because you just hear mommy, 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 and
Yeah.
it's just a lot. And then when they tell me, oh, somebody is disturbing me, I'll tell them, you are disturbing mommy as well. you
Mm.
know. So I've been able to carry them along on my
Along.
journey.
Wow.
I've been able to let them know that okay, in life is in phases and stages. And this is the stage I'm in now. So they know we are on this journey together. And even for themselves too, they know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
there's the time where you have to be independent, you have to
Mhm.
be on, at least they know me time. Mommy needs to rest. So
Rest.
don't disturb mommy.
Mm.
They are the one telling themselves, don't shout. Mommy's having her me time.
Wow.
So when you
How
see
old is
things
your
like this,
youngest?
my youngest, she's 10, she's going, okay, my youngest
Youngest.
is 5.
5.
The eldest is going to be 11.
11.
Yeah, this
Wow.
year.
So, what would you say to a viewer watching this today who feels stuck on life and in the season of life?
Okay, what I would say is that if I can do it and achieve it, you can do it as well. It's never too late. Like the myth we've always had that age is your age, you are growing old. It's never too late. When you wake up is your morning. The most important thing is for you to wake up, for you to realize that you have to heal so that you can sparkle, for you to realize that who are you? You are here on this planet Earth for a reason. For you to realize that you need help and you have to seek that help, for you to realize that you can be who you want to be. You can be whoever you want to be. You can wake up this morning and you have to rebrand yourself
Absolutely.
and be whoever you want to be. And one more thing is that on this journey, never ever remove the God factor. Never remove the God factor. I keep saying it, like one of the grace I have enjoyed so far in my life is God speaking to me part time, and I know where I am, and I know that this is where God wants me to be. So when I see my friend, I'm not jealous. I'm happy for them. I'm genuinely happy for them. Even though I know that it affected my business is not where it's supposed to be today. But when I see other people's growth, I'm happy because I know where I am on my journey. Our journey is different. So never ever remove the God factor in all that you do.
Never remove the God factor in all that you do. And on that note, we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much, Modupe Nibidum, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for
I
having
feel so inspired and fueled
me.
to continue my own mommy
thank you.
journey, right?
Thank you for
So till we
having
come your
me.
way again on the next episode, stay blessed and bye for now.
Bye bye.